Hey guys, what's up? I'm Rohit Khurana, host on Intellect, and today we have two competing phones here side by side. The one on the left is the Redmi 4 and this is the Yureka Black. Both have been recently launched and both are priced competitively and almost in the same price zone. We have got the 3GB RAM variant with 32GB memory for the Redmi 4, which cost 8,999, which is precisely the price of the newly launched Yureka Black 8999, or both are priced at 9,000 rupees. For fair comparison, we have same variants of both the phones, and in this video I'm going to talk about what are the key commonalities as well as differences between these two. So keep watching. I'll start with the design of the two phones, and while they are of same size and form factor, they are practically the same weight, 150 grams versus 152 grams. Hardly a matter of 1% in weight difference, but the design difference is quite striking here. This one has a glossy finish which is susceptible to catching up smudges, but it's not as bad as you would find on the likes of Samsung Galaxy S8, while this one is matte finish and is much less susceptible to catching up on any fingerprints. Another striking difference in design is the fingerprint scanner placement. Here on the Redmi 4, it is at the rear where your index finger usually rests, and it is a very natural way of unlocking this phone, whereas on this one it is on the front, which is another convenient way of unlocking the phone. But say if it is lying on table, then it becomes slightly inconvenient to unlock this one, and on this one you don't even have a way to unlock. If it is laying straight on cable, you have to use the pattern. So this one is more versatile on the Yureka Black. Also in terms of design, you would find that the Yureka Black is slightly larger. It has longer chins, so if I compare them side by side and put one on top of other, you will see that this is slightly taller, slightly wider. So Redmi is slightly more compact. Also it has rounded corners, whereas this has classic sort of Redmi Note 3 sort of design, and this is less slippery. This is more slippery because this is matte metal finish, which tends to slip easily out of your hands. Next up, let's talk about displays. Both have 5-inch displays here, but the one on the left, which is the Yureka Black, is a full high definition display, whereas this one is a 720p display, and the display resolution difference is not very highly visible to the eyes, but I find that the colors are more vibrant on the Yureka Black. If you notice these tomatoes on the left side on this wallpaper, I have deliberately put same wallpaper, and both the phones are set to maximum brightness so that there is no parity. So I'll just show you that both are set to full brightness manually, and they are using same wallpaper, but the same picture looks better on the Yureka Black. So when it comes to display quality, the contrast level and the display panel quality is good on both, and the colors are not fading, as you can see, but this display looks slightly superior to me, but it's also slightly more glossy, so it is really up to the personal preference. But if you have to pick purely on the basis of display, the Yureka Black display looks better. Also, this uses Gorilla Glass 3 protection for scratch resistance, whereas there is also hardened glass on the Redmi 4, but they have not specified which brand of glass it is using, so it is kind of difficult to tell for us. Also, a slight difference here is that it uses bezel buttons. So you have the home key, menu key and the back key on the bottom of the Redmi 4, whereas these buttons are a part of the display here. And also this fingerprint scanner at the bottom, it doubles up as a home button, so you have to press it down. You can also use that back button by tapping it once, so it is a multi-function sort of button. But looking purely at the real estate, you have larger area to view because there are no software buttons on the Redmi 4. So again, very close. Next up, I'll talk about the SIM options. Both are dual SIM hybrid phones, which means that you can add 2 SIM cards but not expand the memory, or add 1 SIM card and expand the memory. So it is the same situation for both the phones. Not much is different here. In terms of processor lineup, they are using this one, which is the Yureka Black, uses a Snapdragon 430 chip, whereas this one is using a 435 chip, which is slightly better. I would not say a lot better, maybe 5-10% better in terms of performance, because it has higher memory speed. Apart from that, they both use same Adreno 505 GPU, which is equally good at gaming in both the phones, and they are quite optimized phones when it comes to software. This one is using MIUI, the Xiaomi Redmi 4, whereas this one uses use own skin. So they have done their own software optimization. We did play some games on both the phones and found that both are quite satisfactory. In terms of benchmark scores also, they are quite close. They both are around 40 to 40,000, 45,000 range. So which is a good thing. Both the phones, besides being budget phones, are giving you great performance. In terms of specs, there is 4 gigs of RAM as standard being offered on the Yureka Black, whereas there is 3 gigs of RAM on the Redmi 4. So in terms of multitasking capabilities, if you multitask a lot, I think Yureka Black would be a slightly better option over the Redmi 4. Next up, I'll talk about cameras. In terms of cameras, there is 13 megapixel shooter on back on both of the phones, whereas on the front, Redmi sports a 5 megapixel front camera, whereas this one sports an 8 megapixel camera. So 5 here, 8 on the U. And just to clear things out, let's take a picture with both front and rear cameras with both the phones and find out which is better. And as you can see, the width of the frame is quite similar in both the phones. And let me take a selfie with both the phones. Also, you notice that there is front flash on the Yureka Black, whereas the front flash is missing on the Redmi 4. The pictures have come out to be equally good, but the detailing here is better on the Yureka, owing to extra megapixels that it offers also with the front facing flash. So in front camera precisely, you will find that the Yureka Black is performing better. In terms of rear cameras, we can also give you a quick test here. So let's place an object here and take a quick picture with both the phones one by one. The one on top is the Redmi 4 and the one on the bottom is the Yureka Black. Both are 13 megapixel. Detailing is good on both. I find that the Redmi 4 is slightly better when it comes to back camera. It has more detailing, it has more sharpness. But on zooming in, the detailing and clarity remains similar. Although the display here on the Yureka Black is slightly better, so it is displaying it in better resolution when you are zooming in, more pixels here. So it's again very subjective, very close. They are quite close when it comes to the aperture effect. Background blurring is also very similar. So if I show you the backdrop here, the color temperatures of the displays are definitely slightly different if you look at them. So if I just place it against white surface, it's slightly on the warmer side. You can see that this white is yellowish and this is bluish. So on Redmi it is a bluish display, or a colder display, whereas here you have a warmer display, which makes the display look more vibrant and easy on eyes. So apart from this minor camera difference, they are quite close. The front camera is definitely better on the Yureka Plus, that is what I find. Next feature is unique to the Redmi 4, which is the infrared blaster on top of it. This can be used to control televisions, home theater, air conditioner and other devices which run using infrared remote control. Whereas this feature is altogether missing on the Yureka Black. So if this is a vital feature for you, then it may be a deal breaker, but for most users it is not. So it is really not much of a deal breaker for most users. Next up is the battery capacity, which I am sure matters to a lot of users. The Yureka Plus here has a 3000 milliamp battery, whereas the Redmi 4 has a 4000 milliamp battery. So you get 33% more battery capacity on the Redmi 4. The battery performance of both phones is comparable, but in terms of absolute numbers, you have more battery on the Redmi 4. So if you are someone who is a lot concerned about battery, I would say let go of every other feature and pick up the Redmi 4 over Yureka because of the battery. But for many users, it's not such a deal breaker. The 3000 milliamp battery on this phone is also good enough and it would last for a day easily. But this one would last for more than a day, which gives it slight edge. Both phones being priced at the same price, they have their own pros and cons. The pros of Yureka Black is that it gets a better display. It gets a better look because of this glossy finish. It gets Gorilla Glass 3 at front and gets a better front facing camera. The pros of the Redmi 4 is that it gets a slightly smaller design, a better build. It also gets a slightly faster processor and large battery with an infrared blaster. So here you have it, all the pros and cons of the Redmi 4 as well as the Yureka Black. Another problem that we face with picking up Redmi phones is that they are very difficult to get. The flash sales make it really hard and they are out of stock before you want to buy them. Whereas Yureka Black, I hope, will not run into such troubles because you has told us that they are bringing in a lot of quantities. So it's only a matter of time. So whichever one you are getting easily is the better phone, I guess. And apart from that, we have already told you about everything that you need to know. You can pick either of these. I am leaving Best Buy links in the description section below this video. Both the phones are great pick in their own right. If you are someone who takes a lot of selfies, go for the Yureka Black. If you are someone who cares a lot for the battery, go for the Redmi 4. This is all I have to say about these two phones. Rest all features of these phones are very comparable and they are very close. This is all we have on this comparison. If you enjoyed watching it, give us a thumbs up. If you want to pick up one of these phones, I'm leaving Best Buy links below. Stay subscribed for more videos. Thanks for watching. This is your host Rohit Khurana signing off.